24 hours ago tonight, it is the encore, the Timberwolves and the Thunder from Oklahoma City. It's their fourth and final matchup of this regular season. Last night, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander turned it up in the fourth quarter and played like an MVP in a 7-point Thunder win. It's their conference-leading 46th win of the season. This is a back-to-back for both teams, and the Wolves have been very good on the back ends since the new year. 4-1 on the second night of back-to-backs since January 1st. Welcome to our Tria Orthopedic Studio in Minneapolis with Rebecca Brunson. I'm Marnie Gellner. A really unique schedule for the Timberwolves and Oklahoma City Thunder, playing last night and tonight. And if you go back before the All-Star break, they played in that final game before the break. That's 3 times in 4 games. You don't see that very often in the NBA. And it's kind of an equalizer for both of these teams in this little matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting that they were scheduled this way. If you think about, back-to-back situations, it's usually the team that plays in that second game that has the upper hand because they're the ones that have to make all of the adjustments. And that's what happened. The Wolves won that the last game that they played before last night's game, obviously, and OKC had to make all of the adjustments. They were the team that was more frustrated. They were the team that felt like they had to play with a little bit more edge, and they won the game last night. So now the Wolves are in that same situation because now they have to make the adjustments. Offensively, the Wolves got a lot of good things. They scored 123 points, right? But defensively, they have the opportunity to look at the video and see what adjustments they can make, what changes they can make to make sure that they're not giving up 130 points to a team that averages 118. So, yes, that's last part of the schedule. Even if you go back before the OKC games, it was a gauntlet. They had Cleveland, they had the Bucks, they had Houston, OKC, all of those teams, right? So they've been in the pressure cooker for a while. And if you want to think about, making strides and playoff series type atmospheres, all of those last games have been playoff type games. And I think the most frustrating thing is that the Wolves have been in all of those games and had the opportunity to win. So I'm sure that they are going to watch the video. I'm sure they were all on the plane looking at what changes they can make and see how they can come out with the win in the second of the back-to-back.
And they had a chance to win that game last night as well. Minnesota was up by 1 with 7 minutes to go, but it was OKC who outscored the Timberwolves 19-11 after that and really showed a lot of team composure.
Nothing really impressed me about this group. We're so many games in. I know the character guys we have. I know what we're capable of, no matter what the game looks like, and we as a group did what I expected. We weren't perfect tonight. Obviously, our second quarter could have been a lot better, but yeah, we did enough to get a W, and we'll take it.
And SGA and that big coat played like an MVP last night at Target Center.
When you talk about playing like an MVP, you just think about the trajectory of this guy in his career. He got drafted by the Hornets, immediately got traded to the Clippers. Then after a season, got traded to OKC and has over the past 3 seasons been averaging 30 points, right? So this is a guy who is an elite basketball player. We're always talking about being the face of the league. This is somebody who is in that conversation because of the work that he's put in and the way that he's able to lead his team. You see he's averaging, he's leading the league in 30-point games because he's just a scorer that can score on multiple levels. He can shoot the 3. He gets downhill in isolation. He drives. He gets fouled. He does all of those things. So he's an elite guard and absolutely in the conversation of best players in this league.
Yeah, nobody has more 30-point games. 34 for SGA. Anthony Edwards has 19 30-point games this season. He almost had one last night. He finished with 29, and it really was a good stat line all the way across for Ant. He had a double-double. He flirted with a triple-double.
As far as playing against this OKC defense, I think that Ant did great. He wasn't able to get into the paint in the beginning of this game because that's what OKC does, right? They are first in limiting opponent points in the paint, but he was still able to figure out eventually he was able to get downhill, got fouled, started getting fouled in that third quarter. But what you're going to want to see is, yes, you take advantage of guys when you can get the 3 off, but you want to play fast and you want to play before this OKC defense gets set. And I think there's an opportunity for Ant to do that. Had 3 steals in this one. If he plays off of his defense, he'll be able to get to that 30. But just, a great performance by Ant. He's somebody who, as the game went on, he continued to get better. And that's why you see the third quarter, he really tried to put this team, on his back, understanding that was an important opportunity for the Wolves to try to bounce off of what they had done in that second quarter, outscoring OKC in that one 40-26.
And the 13 points in the third quarter came in part because he was hitting the threes. Anthony hit 3 of 5 from deep in that third quarter alone, and it ended up being 3-pointers that really were the difference in this game last night, because down the stretch, Oklahoma City just started going bombs away. 7 for 11 for the Thunder from 3 in the fourth quarter last night.
Just shot selection, and finding the best ones and betting on those over and over again. Impressed with Caruso, Case and Wallace. Wiggins obviously has been really good lately, but Kaysen and Caruso struggled early and just have kept shooting their shots and have kept betting on that, and their teammates have kept betting on them with the passes we're throwing, and they hit some big ones. Caruso's 2 threes in the fourth were monster shots, and so that's the only thing, that goes in and out. That's why we got to get the defense right. That wasn't where it needed to be tonight, but we did what we needed to do to win the game. We got to get a little better, tomorrow.
The way we're generating them, the ball is moving, we're touching the paint, spraying out. Fouls a lot of them. Chet had another big one. Yeah, he did. I think I threw it to him, but just like off generating one mores and driving kicks and understanding what we're trying to get accomplished like during the zone. So a lot of those were not even like end of shot clock. AC's was, but it was after moving the ball a lot. But just trusting each other to make the right play, and we're getting like good offense and good threes off.
In the fourth quarter last night, Oklahoma City shot 64% from 3.
It was the way that they shared the basketball I think was the most impressive. They had 8 assists in that fourth quarter, and 7 of those were on threes. The only 3 that was not assisted was when Shai Gilgeous came down in transition and just pulled it up. But they did a great job of collapsing the Wolves, and then were able to hit threes off of that. If you look at these shots, a lot of the closeouts were just a little bit too late. The hand up was a little bit late. So the Wolves are going to have to do a better job of getting into rotation to try to limit some of those.
And you just look at how much better Oklahoma City shot the ball last night compared to a season average, making 54% from 3 overall. Season average is 14. They made 19 last night. That's the 4th most they've had in any game this season. Still to come, Jaylen Clark left last night's game with a neck injury. We'll update his status after this. The Timberwolves have 10 wins at Paycom Center over the last 10 years, which is the second most for any team in the NBA during that span. Only Golden State has more wins in Oklahoma City since 2015. Last night, the Timberwolves' top plus-minus player against Oklahoma City was rookie Jaylen Clark. He was a plus 20 in 18 minutes played, plus he had 4 steals against the Thunder, but Clark left the game in the third quarter after a hard fall, and he did not return. Leah Bielsen is live now in Oklahoma City with the latest on Jaylen Clark. Leah, what can you tell us tonight?
Well, Marnie, it's nice to have some good news to deliver. In Chris Finch's presser, he let everyone know that Jaylen Clark would be participating in tonight's game, or at least would be available for tonight's game, which was great news after that scary fall last night. Before Jaylen went down on that fall, he played some really good basketball, and he made the most of his 18 minutes, and he did a lot of it on the defensive end of the floor, just running around, scrambling. He brought a lot of momentum and energy to the Wolves, and his three-point shooting, 6 of 7 from the field outside, 2 for 2 from the three-point line. And Chris Finch talked about his rookie and wanting to acknowledge how impactful he's been.
More of the same. Yeah, so it is with all young players, just keep doing what you've been able to do. We don't expect you to go out and be superhuman or try to expand your game unnecessarily. Like, as the game comes, just stay confident. We've always liked that about him. Just More of it, more the same.